Out of a little bit of fear here. Jacob was obeying God like many of us. We're obeying God. And when we encounter men and women of God who somehow represent a fear for us or a challenge for us, we tend to do just as Jacob did here. We know we are blessed. We can speak those blessings, especially on Sunday. We can tell about how everything from now as far as the eye can see belongs to God, and it also belongs to me. We can say that. But the question becomes, do we believe it? If you turn to 33:1. As we walk through this with Jacob, we're also walking through this with Esau. Because here it is now, Esau, the one whose blessing was taken, was given away to Jacob. Fortunately, his father had another blessing. He told him, when you have dominion. See, some of us got the mindset that when the day comes when I have to decide, I'm able to make the decision, whoa, I'll fix it then. I'll get even at that point. But remember, it's not about your mind, your heart. It's about the mind of Christ. And it's about a pure heart. And have the things that we would even contemplate doing in life. If it's our thoughts, then you better know, you better question it. It's not even in us to do good. Except to be the Spirit of God that's leading and guiding us. This flesh, it has a desire of its own. 33:1 says, and Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children of Leah and Rachel, and unto his 2 handmaidens. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children, and Rachel and Joseph hindmost. What it's telling us here, this was his preparation. If there's a battle, this is the way I want my goods, this is the way I want to watch my possessions to be taken. And he put them in order in how he cared for them. He's still thinking in the flesh. God just blessed him. He had the mindsight, he had the foresight to see that his life was preserved. But when dealing with Esau here he was setting up something here to the point that Esau was about to destroy him, or he was afraid of Esau. And 33:2 it says, and he put his handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindmost. And he passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near his brother. You know, when a person bows before you, that's a humbling experience. This is the same brother here who had dominion, who was supposed to have his brother serve him. But as he goes back before Esau here, something has changed. And as he bows before Esau here, this brother that was so angry, this brother that was looking for vengeance, this brother that had his birthright taken, this brother here that had gone before his father expecting a blessing, but his father didn't have one to give him because his brother had been subtlety, and he had took it from him. But here he was now face to face with this brother. Here it was, he had an opportunity to deal with this brother. These 2 brothers are face to face now. And he came here bowing before him. But as he humbled himself, his mind and his heart had to have been right, because he didn't go there high and mighty like most of us would have. He went there in a humble mind state. It says in 33:4, and Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and wept. You don't want God's children crying. This weeping here was a joy. The previous weeping was a heartbreaking. You know that song, Trouble's in My Way, I gotta cry sometimes. Not everybody crying is sorrowful. Because God can restore some things that were lost to us. When we talk about a pure heart, here it was, these 2 brothers, they met again, and their hearts were pure. And here was God on the scene, just to show you how good God is. God had blessed Jacob where Jacob had been, and here comes Jacob now passing through Esau's territory. But God had also blessed Esau. And everything that Jacob sent before by his men to say, give this to Esau, he insisted Esau take it. Esau said, no, I have enough. But he said, please take it. As a matter of fact, what he said to him exactly was this in Genesis 33:10. And Jacob said, nay, I pray thee, If now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my presence at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of God, and was pleased with me. I have seen thy face as though I had seen the face of God. Can you imagine somebody looking at you and saying, I can see God in you? They should be able to say that. We call ourselves Christian. It says that Christians are Christ-like. They should be able to see God in us. But I bring this to you, or I give this to you, because if we look in the flesh, just as Jacob went there preparing how Esau might defeat him, or what Esau might take, but they that walk in the Spirit. Because Esau's heart was pure at that time. Jacob's heart was pure at that time. And regardless, even though Jacob had a little fear, there was no need for that fear, because Esau received him in love. And just as he said, therefore I have seen thy face, as though I have seen the face of God. 33:11 says, take, I pray thee, my blessings that is brought to thee, because God had dwelt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. He didn't need it, but he took it. He knew he didn't need it. He had told him he didn't need it, but he still blessed him. And that's the way God is. He blesses us. If you think about this whole story here, about these two young men and what they went through. Who knows what they went through to get to the point to become men? We saw them as children where there was something that was done. But you know, today, we're like that. We can all look back over our lives and there's something there that happened in our lives. Something that someone done to us. You know, today you watch television and you hear all sort of inappropriate things that older men and women did to younger men and women. You hear about people in their relationships with their first wives, second wives, third wives. You hear about children who don't have anything to do with their fathers. You hear about all sort of brokenness. But when it comes down to God, God is in the business of restoration. And there are hearts out there that until those hearts are somehow pure, there are some blessings that are not going to flow from one person to the next. Today, my message is, blessed are the pure in heart. And we today have the task, as the Word of God says, as judging ourselves that we not be judged. And I want to say to each and every one of you here today, search your hearts. If there's anything in your heart that's not like God, we need to be praying unto God to remove it. It may be that it's like Paul, where he says that he left that as a thorn in the flesh. It may be. But by the same token, if it's there and God left it there, then by all means, keep it there. But if it's not, we need to know, and we need to be searching to have that pure heart, because everything that we touch, we impact. Blessings follow us, and so do curses. That's why the Bible speaks of generational curses, and that's why it speaks of generational blessings. But only when we have a pure heart are we in a position to receive the things of God. I want to leave you all with one thought, and that one thought is this. We need to remember what the Word of God says. It's told us in Psalms. David said that God didn't desire a sacrifice. He desired obedience. The Bible also told us that God desired people that would worship Him in spirit and in truth. Jesus, when He went to the garden, had to make a decision in His own heart. And we today have to make that same decision in our own heart. And when our heart is pure, we're going to sacrifice some things if there's nothing else but our pride. And that pride, you know, it's like a hat. Until you remove that hat off your head, it's still there. But that pride is something that you don't really have to worry about, because it's not a physical thing. It's more of a mental or spiritual thing. And the way you get rid of your pride is you answer this question for yourself. as I ask of you. Must Jesus bear the cross alone, and